Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes. Some of us are near, some of us are far on the road. Hello, Cameron Riley. How are you? And you're muted, I think.
Hello,
There you
Sybil. Hello, Damon. Nice to be here, broadcasting from Montego Bay, Jamaica at the moment. Hello, Grandma.
go. All right. And it might be the first message Grandma's gotten that you all arrived safely. Hey, Damon, how you doing?
Doing well, doing fantastic here at home, as you can see from the flag.
We love those constants in our lives, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. How's your trip with your mom, Cameron?
Everything's going really well so far. She's enjoying it a lot. It's a bit of a. It's not a bit. It's a party resort. My mom is not a party person, but she likes to be party adjacent,
Hmm.
and so that's where she is finding her joy right now.
And is her son a party person or is he party adjacent as well?
I am party removed. I'm
Oh,
party
wow. Okay.
removed.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
Yep. I've been finding all the quiet areas where the party is not, and that's where I've been finding my joy.
And you find
Yeah.
your joy in that. Okay. Good.
Yes. Yeah.
So, what kind of fun have you had in finding your joy?
I've been catching up on some reading. Been catching up on some games. Um, Food here is great. There's no shortage of vegetables here or any kind of veggie dish. The
Yeah.
Rastafarians
So,
really know
no,
how to make a vegetable go far.
but no jerk chicken or anything like that, huh? No
No
meat
jerk chicken.
pies,
No jerk cauliflower.
jerk cauliflower. I think that used to
Yeah.
be somebody's radio name. And Damon, how are you?
I'm doing great. I we're going to Montego Bay next month. My niece Maria is getting married out there.
Nice.
So yeah, the first week of April we'll be in Montego Bay, man.
Yeah,
So,
my. All right.
but yeah, doing great. Home. This is the um, just it's a good week. It's time to be home for a little while.
Okay. All right. And how about the weather?
Weather is it's seasonal. You know, it's 40 degrees, a little overcast today. It may go a little higher tomorrow, but nothing to complain about in February
So
or
you
March even. Duh.
and so what you're also saying is it's a good time for Cameron to be in Jamaica.
It's a perfect time to be away from here. Yes,
Yeah.
it normally is this time of year.
Yeah.
But no complaints. I mean, we're on the bright side now. The clocks go ahead this weekend, and
Right.
the sun stays up longer. So this is my spirit, my season of optimism. I'm always looking forward to spring and summer. Do the bike riding and walking the dogs, and hitting the water and things of that nature. So I'm all good over here.
That's awesome. I had the same experience over the weekend and it was like, well, I gotta be out by 6 o'clock or 5:30. And son of a gun, the sun was going down at 6:30. And I was like, all right, this is good. And it portends to what we have to look forward to. So it's great. Absolutely. I don't mind that. And I especially didn't mind it when I used to work overnights on the weekends and you lose an hour.
Yeah.
As opposed to having to work an extra hour. But it's a lot of fun. It's all good. And this weekend is the Oscar Awards, and I'm looking forward to that as well. Although I don't have a horse in this race, but I do enjoy the Oscars. And
Yeah. The Oscars I could tell it's always been a big thing for you. My mother, definitely loves the Oscars, and it's just a great time of year to just acknowledge some of the greats of the game and see who gets snubbed.
yeah. Well, one woman who we know will not get snubbed is the great Angela Bassett receiving an award from the Academy, and well deserved because she's missed a couple of opportunities. They have failed to give her her due, and so that they'll make up for that this weekend. And it's also a friend from the Willie Moore Jr. show, Sharina Cole, is telling me she's going to be out there for the Women of Essence Awards, and that's taking place on Friday. And they usually broadcast that like a week or so later on OWN. And that's one that I really love as well.
Yeah,
So
I think Roland used to do something with that during that time and had all the women together. And I got a chance to meet a bunch of great women in a particular time. So it's a nice time to be around.
yeah, it really is. And speaking of Jamaica, our little Jamaican genie. Hello, Ahmed. How are you?
How are we doing tonight? Excellent.
You're okay?
Doing fine. Didn't
Okay.
take a nap today, so we
Okay. So we're gonna get our work done early. All right. I feel it. Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the newsletter. This is the What You Need to Know newsletter. We'd love to have you subscribe. It is free. Please go to sybilwilkes.com. Give us your name and your email address. We'll have it in your email box every Monday through Friday morning. And we talk about topics ranging from politics to LGBTQ to social justice to mental health and wellness. And Khameron is our political contributor. And Khameron, tell us what's going on, not in Jamaica, but what's going on in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah, Sybil, Damon, I don't know if you all have heard of the Memphis mayor, Paul Young. I haven't really heard of him really until the other day, but he has taken on a bit of an innovative grassroots approach to stopping homicides in the city of Memphis. I didn't know as of 2023, Memphis had the record high of any city in the country for homicides.
Mhm.
Didn't know Memphis was homicide capital of the United States, but Mayor Young decided to, in partnership with community-based organizations, to convene all of the heads of all of the street gangs to negotiate a ceasefire, and they all agreed, surprisingly. And a lot of the contingents of that agreement involve getting them employment, getting them job training, and also putting some of their younger members in school so that they can be on track to living healthy, sustainable lives. And those of you all out there who are from Memphis, please support your mayor. This is going to be a multi-year long initiative. These things don't happen overnight by any means, but then you should also volunteer at these community-based organizations that are going to be facilitating this street outreach work. So the 901 Block Squad, the HEAL 901, Mayor Young is really doing like the facilitating of all of these programs, but it's these community-based organizations that are really going about the anti-violence work of making sure that these young Black men are taken care of and getting their lives off of the streets.
And this is a young brother mayor and a native of Memphis, Tennessee, from what I understand from my friends as well, and came in and is doing a lot of good things. This is going to cost. I mean,
Oh yeah.
For this, and so did they talk about that at all?
No, the article didn't specify a dollar amount, but with the amount of community-based organizations that are involved, I mean, even just to commit to, and this is just one out of a series of talks. I mean, we're talking millions in the hundreds of millions of dollars, but even getting the gang members to commit to a ceasefire,
it comes to the same space.
Right. Yeah, and even to come to the same space without police presence, mind you, that is very good indeed. And Memphis is embarking upon this based off of a study conducted in Chicago. So There we go again, Chicago setting the blueprint for anti-violence work.
And he comes to this job, I understand he has a work history in housing, as well as rehabbing and improving neighborhoods. And so this isn't new to him, and he's now able to take it to another level, obviously, as mayor of this town.
Yeah, I mean, the mayor isn't new to this at all. I know we got some people tuning in from the South, so I want you all to go out and support your mayor, support these community-based organizations. And I mean, this 17-year high homicide rate, it's a bit ridiculous. Definitely time for this to settle down a little bit.
And certainly they have a long way to go, but as you say, there's nothing like the community joining in and doing things like this. I mean, I never thought that there was a problem with midnight basketball, but a lot of people scoffed at that in the city of Chicago, getting young people off the streets. And the 100 Black Men organization started around that in trying to provide some sort of guidance and shelter for the young people in our community. So this is another opportunity for the people in Memphis to step up and to improve what was a record-breaking year for homicides and other crimes in the city of Memphis.
Yeah, we saw a lot of these numbers spike after the coronavirus pandemic. And a lot of the research just points to, if people if people aren't secure with their basic needs, their basic necessities, if people are, bored, and, there's like a lack of education, then they resort to violence. It's just a very formulaic concept. And I like how Mayor Young is just going about this very humanistically. He's not, demonizing them at all for what it is that they're doing. But he is offering them an olive branch of opportunity should they choose to participate. So we'll see how this works.
And it's interesting, they're still recovering from the murder of young Mr. Tyree as a result of the cops and the killing. And so in that area, so it's going to be interesting to see how this community heals as well as comes together for good. Have you guys ever been involved, asking you, Med and Damon, have you ever been involved in projects like that in the cities where you live?
No, when it comes to, when I read Khameron's story, it was very interesting to me because it's just one of those things where it's like, you gotta take the patient route, what most people don't do.
Right.
Matter of fact, the biggest problem that we're having is that the kids that you're trying to help aren't patient. They are looking for a quick solution to their situation of where they live, their finances. They're looking for the quick solution, and the quick solution is usually a dangerous solution for their lives. And what this mayor is trying to do is a slow drip. And I'm not mad at it because there is no overnight solution to the problems that we're having in the inner cities. It's all a slow drip to get it done. Hopefully that you can get some things instituted that could help quickly. But at the end of the day, to transform the situation, it didn't happen overnight, and so the solution won't happen overnight. So everybody has to be patient, and it's just difficult, usually because sometimes we can laugh at this, like, yeah, the mayor's meeting with the gang leaders, having some lunch, and what's that going to do? Mm-hmm. It's just conversation. I don't think people understand the importance of conversation, of getting to know somebody. I was telling somebody this today, actually, in the studio in the morning show, had some people come through. Layla Ali, saw her today, and I was telling them, I'm just like, meeting somebody, having a conversation with somebody you never met before or talked to, and the impression that leave on you can be so important. So having these conversations, having this lunch, having these gang members look at the mayor like, all right, he is not that bad. This isn't that bad. And then them conveying that message to other people can help.
Yeah.
It's just a slow drip. And everybody has to be patient with the results.
It's nothing like leading by example, right? I mean, you guys know this as sons, as fathers for two of you, and understanding that the impression that you can leave with these young people. I imagine this Mayor Young, having grown up in Memphis and having gained a certain amount of respect, I would imagine, by have gone through all that he went through to get to be the mayor of Memphis, Tennessee, and the first 48 city and things like that. But it's really I don't like to use the word impactful, but it does have a great effect on people.
Yeah, and it's a more complex and layered situation, especially in places like Memphis, where it's not just the societal ills that are causing the violence, it's interpersonal retaliatory violence. And when people have had loved ones taken from them, they want to take others' loved ones. So it's a cycle of violence that some of these programs will or will not help. I have been, of course, involved in gang activity in Chicago, and not the way I prevented it was I was the one who shot my gun in the air and both gangs scattered. So, but I stopped the violence. I'm telling you right now. It literally shut down a big mob fight. And that's not even a joke, to be honest. But
it's true.
Like I said, here in Chicago, even this summer, our mayor is proposing job programs and summer jobs. He's bringing that back. So it's things like that could help. And once people see people doing things positively and they see their self-esteem rise in a person, it can be exponentially beneficial to the
Yeah,
community around you. You know,
yeah.
I remember when I took a class for medical tech, and I wore this white lab coat home from my class from the bus stop, and everybody was so proud of me, and it made me feel really proud, like, you know, to wear my lab coat. So it's little things like that you'll be surprised what helps self-esteem. Memphis has bigger problems. It starts with the rap community and some of them the murders that have taken place, and the back and forth with that too. So
Young
he
Dolph.
has his work cut out for him, but at least he know Young Dolph, young Yo Gotti's brother. You know, it's a
Yeah.
lot going on with the factions there. So we're gonna all lend our support to that situation and hope it works out. Hope it's a model for other cities.
Right, right, exactly right. And I would love to talk to some of these mayors and those that are, I mean, because I don't think that they get the best rap for what they're trying to do, or best reputation, I should say, for what they're trying to do. And it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. And for some people to say, I didn't think it was going to work, but here's the proof is in the pudding. And to talk about the Mayor Johnson in Chicago, Mayor Young in Memphis, what is it, Mayor Lumumba in Jackson, Mississippi, towns like that, where the need is great for them to come up with programs like this, and for citizens to become involved in them. Just like when we were talking with the Big Brothers Big Sisters president, President Artis, about this. So it's really cool, and I love the idea, and would like to follow this. And it's a lot better, Khameron. These stories make you feel a lot better about your towns, even than the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, if I can bring up one who is and what the heck she's doing. But
I've been holding out until we get word from the Fed to write a comprehensive article.
Right.
Just wait, Khameron.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. There's no need to rush it. It's coming.
Right now, these are just alizations, as she said.
And going back to
Alizé.
her favorite beverage, perhaps. Yes.
Hey, that story is trickling now. It's down here in Atlanta. I've heard her name. I'm like, here we go. Yeah. It's about to go.
And the videos are spreading across the nation, if not the world, and people are I'm wondering what the heck is going on in the suburbs of Chicago. One of the other things we talked about in the newsletter was about the Supreme Court, one day before Super Tuesday, came down with a decision to keep Donald Trump on the ballots in the states of Colorado, Maine, and Illinois, affecting two states in the Super Tuesday convention of states today. And they said nothing in the Constitution requires that we endure such chaos, and that they wanted to put an end to this is what the people who are fighting for this, to keep Donald Trump on the ballot, said they wanted to put an end to the effort of Democratic secretaries of state to engage in ballot cleansing. And that's a dangerous term to use right there when you talk about cleansing, by removing former President Donald Trump from the 2024 election. But they were saying that there is a section of the 14th Amendment, the third section, that asked for, this was post-Civil War, that they said Confederates and those involved in the Confederacy of the Civil War should never hold office again. And they contend that the man who led an insurrection in 2021 should be included in that. And the majority of the court said, yes, you're right. A minority, the 4 women on the court, said in the end, it's correct. The decision is correct, but getting there, they didn't necessarily agree with. And Amy Coney Barrett wrote her own concurring opinion, which was dissenting. And then the 3 more liberal justices also wrote their opinion and talked and called him an oath-breaking insurrectionist. So it's going to be interesting when they all meet back in April 22nd for the case revolving around Donald Trump's plea for presidential immunity It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out, how long it's going to take for them to write their decision and when they will, because it's all, moving very slowly. And in Donald Trump's case, it's to his advantage that they don't get this done as close to the November election, which is 8 months from today, by the way. Don't get too close to the November election so that he can perhaps, in his mind, he can win the presidential election, and then all of these cases will be moot.
Go away. They're gonna go away.
Yep.
And the sad thing about it is Donald Trump is just using the system. He's just using the system the way criminals use the system. Finding all the loopholes and going through all sorts of legal circus tricks to just keep pushing this along, because he knows he has a good chance in November. He knows he has a good chance in November to win this thing against Biden. So he's like, if I can just get to November.
He really believes that he does have a chance.
He does.
Yeah.
He absolutely does. He has his rallies make him, believe that.
Yeah.
And so he is just stalling until he gets to November. Because if he gets to November and he can beat Biden, like we said, all these cases basically go away for another 4 years.
Yeah. Absolutely. And there will be more madness that will follow that. Let's move to the What's Really Going On section. It's Super Tuesday for those that are watching us on this Tuesday, and it will be in the past for those listening at a future date. But I want to know, 16 states had their primaries today, and the one territory, American Samoa, also had their today. And so I'm wondering, people who are watching, wherever you are watching, if you did have primaries today, did you participate? Did you vote? And in California, it's not even going out and voting. It's a matter of voting by ballot and mailing it in. So you receive your ballot, you fill it out, and then you mail it back in, and which was part of the pandemic response to elections, and they just kept it going. California is a really interesting example, but I'm just curious for people, and no judgment zone, but I just am very curious if you voted today, because a lot of people don't vote in the primaries because they don't want to be identified with one party or another. And secondly, they don't think that it's anybody's business. They don't want to be identified. So those two things, different things, and they prefer to wait for the general election. I think in a state like Texas, and I'll be quite transparent, that it is it was an opportunity for people to vote for Nikki Haley, but that also cuts off a lot of great Democrats who are running for a place on the ballot in coming months. And so I get your point, but you're cutting off your nose to spite your face in hopes of others representing you down the line.
So this happened to me a few cycles back,
where
I was like, I'm gonna be an independent. I'm gonna be independent, right? So I'm like, I clicked independent, and when I was like, there was nothing for me to vote on. I was like, wait a minute. I didn't know. I thought if I did independent, I could vote for everything.
Right.
And I was like, wait a minute. Okay. So, I'm like, let me pick Democrat. And it was just Democrats. I'm like, so you're trying to tell me that I can't vote? I have to pick a
side. I
was like, what's the point of this? I was like, especially when you have an election when it's a year where you have an incumbent. And I'm just like, I don't see the point of this. And I please believe I understand of the local stuff. I get that. But when you're only picking one side, and I just don't see. And if you're trying to upset the apple cart on the other side, it doesn't. Again, I was just like, this is dumb.
Yeah, and in the hood, it's tricky because it's mostly a Democratic situation, so they only have one Republican booth and about 8 Democrat booths. So when they watch, they say they'll watch you go. Oh no, he ain't going. I know he's not walking over there to that Republican booth, is he? You know, the little old lady sitting there. I know. Can I get a Republican ballot, please?
That is exactly what happens.
Yeah, it's tricky. But let's say this for the people that, and I've heard a lot of apathy about this election coming up, like they don't like either candidate, so they're just going to sit it out. You can't do that. Or here's more incentive for you not to. It's not just the presidential election. A lot of people don't know, which I really found out recently, that all the 435 seats in the House are up, and like 33 Senate seats, if I'm not mistaken. So if you want to vote for the person that's supporting the platform of what you want done, even if your candidate gets in, he can't get anything done if he doesn't have the support in the House or the Senate. So don't sit it out, people. It really is vital to do so.
And one thing that I pointed out, and I say this quite often, but I pointed out in the article I wrote for tomorrow, is that the lower down on the ballot, those people have the greatest effect on your day-to-day living. And so you are really taking away your opportunity to vote for someone who has a profound effect on your day-to-day life. It could be your street lights, it could be your water, it could be the police, you know, it could be the city manager, and having the effect on the decisions that are made about your life.
Yeah, it could be your traffic court judge.
There you go. Look, that's real, because we are voting for judges in a lot of
it's absolutely real. And the older that I've gotten and the things that I've seen just in my community, you know, me and my wife are looking around, and, you know, we're seeing all these townhomes being put up, but we're not seeing the roads expanding. You know, we're seeing, like, you know, the schools. You haven't added any schools, but there's a whole bunch of new kids coming in this area, and there's no entertainment for these kids in this area. Why is this not happening? And it's one of those things where, you know, we've talked about it on here several times, but now that I'm actually seeing it in my community, I was like, we have the 2 largest liquor stores in the state of Georgia, literally 5 miles apart, and they're building a new one. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's like within a 5-mile radius of each other. And I'm like, yet there's no entertainment for kids here. There's one Chuck E. Cheese for 3 counties. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what is going on? And if you don't vote for the people locally, you're literally letting the area that you live in be controlled by people that you have no idea who's running. I bet you most of us don't even know who the names of the people that are running the town they live in. Not even like the bigger metropolis. Like, I'm not even talking about like Chicago or Atlanta. I'm talking about the literal city you live in. You probably don't even know the name of your mayor.
Unless she's under indictment, and then you know her.
The nation knows her.
Right. But here's the other thing, Ned. In Dallas Fort Worth, where it has just grown in the growth, and, you know, they always talk about, oh, you want to buy your house in a good school district and what have you. And now the conversation is, you know, these school districts are because they're pulling back on property taxes, which are ridiculous anyway. They're having to make some budget cuts, and so now these great school districts are being diminished. And so you want to have some say so in that. So that is talking about school boards voting for school board members, those that are, you know, want to take books off the library bookshelves because they don't like them, because they promote homosexuality or, you know, racism or whatever it is. You want to have a voice, and if you're not going to do it, then you at least want to elect those people that are going to represent you fairly, right?
Absolutely.
So the question today is, did you vote today in Super Tuesday? I know that the Illinois is on the 16th. Is it? It's coming up in a week or two, and Georgia is coming up very quickly. So
I think I saw somebody say next week.
Right, it's next week.
Yeah.
So this is really important. Let's talk about why you did or did not, if you plan to, if why or why not, and just have a little bit of discussion just to kind of open it up. Janet Ferguson is on Facebook, and she says, I am so over the politicians, Supreme Courts, the entire justice system. They are all corrupt. I don't trust nothing they do anymore. That man can do anything he wants and get away with it. That man, I believe, being the Republican. Yes, Med, I agree. He has a very good chance of winning, and I think he will. He's just as corrupt as the rest of the system. That is, that's a sad thing for me.
I can respond to that.
Please.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that the past 8 years have shown us that our federal government, just the federal system is just way too adversarial. It's way too tit for
Yeah.
tat.
Yeah.
Every house of government is just abusing their power to do whatever it is that they want, or do nothing at all.
do
Or in
nothing
at all.
Congress's
Yeah,
case.
in the case of the House, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I would just advise for people out there, much like myself, who are just feeling completely jaded at the federal stuff, just really focus on what's going on locally. Focus on what's going on right in your backyard,
Right.
where your voice carries a lot more weight.
Yeah.
Where even you and a couple of your neighbors, you all's voice carries so much more weight as tax-paying citizens. So, hello, Janet. It's nice to hear from you. But vote locally.
Gadswell Clothing on YouTube said in Cali, we had an important measure on the ballot regarding mental illness. And I think that is one thing that our mental health and wellness contributor, Aprilette, wrote about a couple of weeks ago. That's really important. And the one thing that was near and dear to my heart is a Black woman running for the United States Senate. Not unusual in the state of California, because you all have had that. Most recently, the woman who is now vice president of the United States was a senator representing California and elected. There is now a Black woman sitting in the United States Senate for California, appointed by the governor Newsom following the death of Dianne Feinstein. And the woman who is running now probably will not make it in this tiered voting system that they have in the state of California, in which Republicans and Democrats are running against each other, and the top two vote getters will go on to the final election, the general election in November. And sadly, the Barbara Lee, the congresswoman from Oakland, California, is not going to be there. Whether it is a matter of money that she didn't get enough, or enough support from the bigger names and people, she is not going to make it. It's pretty much agreed upon that it will be Steve Garvey, a Republican who is famous for his baseball prowess, and Adam Schiff, who is a Democrat who is a major money maker and is representing Southern California, and has played a big part in the impeachment of Donald Trump and other roles like that. So Porter will not make it, the congresswoman from California, and Barbara Lee will not make it, congresswoman from California. And that just breaks my heart. But there are two other races involving Black women, especially running for the U.S. Senate. We're hoping, as I wrote about it in today's newsletter, about wanting to see the three of them in the United States Senate at the same time, because that's never happened before. You've had three, but not together. Regina Glover on Facebook said, I believe that it's important to know the political views of those who are running for offices at the local and state levels. How can voters obtain that information?
I can also answer that.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so luckily for me, there are community-based organizations who pride themselves on aggregating every decision that these people have ever made ever. It is really hard to track what it is that your local elected officials have done, but I would make your way to your whatever local neighborhood meetings that are going on in your neighborhood. Befriend whoever is chairing those, and then they usually have a voting record on whatever it is that person has ever authorized, whatever type of ordinances they've signed off on. That's how you can kind of keep track of what it is that they've got going on. And also, don't underestimate the power of just pulling up on them. Just go there.
Yeah.
They can't stop you.
But
or go on their social media and delve into it yourself. I mean, a lot of times when your opponents are looking for dirt or even information, they can go back into the history of your socials. So that might help as well.
There are also organizations that are representative of people that look like us, the Texas Black Women's Voting PAC, or the League of Women Voters, or things like that, organizations that you feel an affinity for, or you have a kinship with them where they stand politically, they will also come out with their stands and their approval or disapproval of people that are running for office, and especially for judgeships. It's interesting, you guys, and Damon, I don't know if you paid attention to this, and Khameron, I'm sure this has been a topic of discussion, but the Cook County State's Attorney decided she is not going to run for re-election, and there are a number of Democrats who are running. But it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out and how they have either linked themselves, and I'm not sure about that, but have distanced themselves from the current state's attorney, and how this is all going to play in Illinois politics come next week.
You know, it's interesting because we haven't seen many commercials or haven't been inundated with, you know, the typical run of political commercial. I don't know if this because
it's coming.
Yeah.
My favorite time.
Go ahead, Cam.
I was going to say Kim Foxx was the best thing that ever happened to us. I totally understand why she's not running again. I also know some things that I shouldn't know about why she's not running again. Something about her husband. It's a very long story. But
what?
That's the scuttlebutt. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. With a city that's like an old boys club as Illinois is, state's attorney is extremely powerful office. It's an extremely powerful office. So I haven't done my research yet on like who is up or what it is that they've done, but I'll let you all know probably sometime next week.
So I know we're running out of time, Yolanda. I'm looking at the clock, but I just wanted to share this, and we can go into trending, and I'll share it. So let's move into trending, and I will share the story. I heard a radio interview with a man who was running for the Democratic nomination for state's attorney, and they're going blah 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 blah, and they're talking, and I'm listening to him, and I'm going, I couldn't tell. And then, you know, and all of a sudden he said, and I went to Howard and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's a brother. Okay. Now, you know, because I couldn't tell by the name. I couldn't tell by the voice, and not until he said Howard. Yeah. Yes. And so we moved on, Yolanda. We're into trending. So it's necessary that you do your homework. If you can't see them like I couldn't, and not that I'm able to vote for them, but just out of curiosity and wanting to know, you know, who's voting and who's running and that kind of thing. So Damon, we see that Khameron's hanging out in a club in Jamaica. Tell us about your club dates coming up.
This weekend is pretty busy. My Ameristar Casino monthly event will be this Friday. And it's become like my passion project. It's been a bunch of grown people having a great time. And that's Friday. Then Saturday, I'll be at Riddles. Thursday, I'll be at Zany's as part of this roast battle that's taking place. And I'll do a performance. And I'm one of the panelists, one of the judges. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm hopping around here in Chicago. Then next week, I'm off to Philadelphia. Prior to that, it's the Dayton Funny Bone on the 15th and 16th. But I want everybody to watch Laugh Tonight. Yes, watch Laugh Tonight with Damon Williams on Tubi. It's free now. I've been waiting on people to see this show for 4 years, and now you have no charge. Go and find it. Thumb it up. Watch an episode. Stream it. Do what you can, please.
And it is a fun time, and to see your growth over those episodes, Damon, is really exceptional. It's a good show, and it's fun, and you're a genius at work. It's really great to see.
I'm glad you peeked at it, because that is true. Our production was kind of shoddy in the beginning because we didn't have a great audience, and so we had to book audience members. They shot it in LA, in Burbank. If it was shot in Chicago, it would have been flooded with people. It would have been the right type of people. But yeah, as we evolved, and that was in over a 3 or 4 day period, you'll see as you stated, the comfortability of myself and the comics. And then the interviews are great. And if you want to get a backstory on some rising comics, and rest in peace, we lost one of the comedians, Boogie B, which was a New Orleans comedian who got caught in some stray gun violence recently. And, I'm glad we got a chance to get him his shine, because he has a great interview and a long set of his material, and his family will get a chance to see him over and over again.
Yeah. Khameron, what club are you going to be appearing at next week in Jamaica?
I'll be going to Neon Night at Club Pacha in Montego Bay
All
this
right.
Friday.
Very good. And Ned, do you have anything coming up for you?
Yeah. So like I said, I am the new executive producer for the Morning Hustle. If you guys want to win a Tesla,
Come on.
if you want to win a Tesla, I was like, we giving away stuff. Sybil,
Okay.
if you want to win a Tesla, just text Tesla to 71007, and you can have an opportunity to win $1,000 in a Tesla by playing our cash grab game that we do every day. That's 10 questions. If you get 10 right, you get $1,000. So yeah, text Tesla to 71007 if you want to win a Tesla. Yeah, that is basically it. Been having fun with the Morning Hustle. Good group of people, and it's been exciting getting up in the morning, 4 o'clock.
Yeah, sure, exciting.
And driving
I'm
in,
super duper thrilled.
and just being up all day, because the last time I did this, I didn't have a wife or a kid. So
right. It's a different.
It changes. Yeah. Dynamic is very different this time around. I wasn't thinking about all that. I was like, I remember doing this. I did it before. I can do it again.
Nothing like this before.
Dad, you picking me up from school? Oh, who are you? Like, oh God, I got to do that. Whoa, I didn't have to do that before.
My afternoon nap. Yeah.
My afternoon nap is shot.
Right.
So, yeah. So Tesla to 71007, and Alton Walker was on the program like last week, I believe. He had a great show over the weekend at the Atlanta Comedy Theater. A few sold out shows, but he's been a breath of fresh air for me on the Morning Hustle. He's excellent. He ain't missed since I've worked with him. So I'm excited to have him back more.
Yeah, tell him we are going to invite him back.
Absolutely.
He was a lot of fun. Khameron, I don't know if this affected you today, but users all over the world turned to their Facebook and to the Instagram and found that Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger and Threads, all owned by Meta, were reportedly down today. And on mobile, Facebook users were met with a pop-up reading "Session expired. Please log in again." And tapping on the message take them to a login screen where users reported seeing a message saying unable to log in. An unexpected error occurred. Please try logging in again. And Facebook users were wrongly told the password you've entered is incorrect. And trying to access Facebook Messenger encountered the same situation. Instagram users were able to access most content, but received a notification on their timeline. The feed could not be refreshed. I got that. And when trying to access Instagram online, a message said something went wrong. There's an issue and the page could not be loaded, and keep trying. And then people were saying, oh, it's Super Tuesday. Oh, the Russians, the Chinese, they're trying.
Oh, the Russians.
Yeah. Trying to hack into, and people were saying, they would go in with their password and then they were asked to do a video where they do a full frontal and then they do a profile and to say their names and things. So people were like, they were freaking out all over this. I was like, can you just get through the morning and not have to log in? I guess that's not possible. But I don't know if you faced this where you were, Khameron, but a lot of folks were distraught.
Yes, and I was temporarily one of them because all of my promotion, or a majority of my promotion, is done through. So I use social media for business, and I was like, "What the heck?" But it's an eye-opening experience for all of you people who now couldn't reach your mama because you forgot her number. Let's get back to knowing people's phone numbers. And the one guy who was trying to flirt with the girl that you've been talking to in DC somewhere, and you couldn't reach her, get her phone number. How about that? But when social media goes down, live your life otherwise. People that don't go on other platforms, they were jumping on Twitter. I even went to my TikTok, and I never go to TikTok because nobody ever comes to my TikTok. So I was like, this is ridiculous. I heard people talk about, well, check your MySpace. See if your Black Planet's working. It was chaos. It was chaos. And once it was finally revealed that through Twitter, what was going on, that some people were able to relax and go on with their lives. But it was an eye-opener if you're in business, because I had just purchased ads, and that's when I woke up to see the results of my ads.
Oh, wow.
And first they sent my money back for my ad. And I'm like, okay, now that makes you think your account is bad. So I went straight to my bank, So there are people that use it strategically for business that had a reason to be panicking. But if you're just trying to go in there and see some extra booties or check on some old-fashioned cars, just go on and live with your life, man. Go outside, take a walk.
You'll see old cars and you'll see booty out there too. Trust and believe.
Right, in the real world.
Real booties. So
Take a stroll instead of a scroll.
Khameron, were you affected by this today?
I was not, but my theory is it's just after the T-Mobile outage, the AT&T outage, the Metaverse outage, that a lot of these tech companies are just in the midst of all this hacking. They're just trying to see what exactly is affected if it all goes down at once. So because they have teams working 24/7.
Test? It was just a test.
Yeah,
of your emergency
like
broadcast.
This is only a test. Ned, let me ask you this: as you know, hosting or producing a radio show, how did that affect you guys this week?
Oh, that affected us immediately because we had planned a few posts, like I said, the Tesla thing, and also some interview clips from. We have an interview with Eric Bellinger, and it mentions stuff about Diddy and Jonathan Majors, and literally as they were posting some of the clips, everything went down. Like, dang it, this not working. Like, I can't get it to upload. I'm just like, what is going on? Then all of a sudden we saw on X that everything was down, and we're like, oh. So it's like now it's like we didn't know what went, if it didn't go, if people can see it. We had no idea. And so like our digital team was scrambling. Like, so what do we do? What do we do? Should we take it down? If it goes back up, should we take it down and upload it? It was a mess this morning. So, we figured it out, but it was a lot going on because it literally happened while we were uploading different promotions and things like that, and we had no idea what was going on.
Right. And
I was actually concerned about your Facebook Live today too. That came to mind this morning as well for me, Sybil.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. And I thought about that too. I was wondering, but then, pretty early.
Be on YouTube too.
And that's what I thought we were going to have to do is just to remind people and go on Twitter and tell people, we can still be seen there as well. Another thing that came down today, the Biden administration announced a rule to cap all credit card late fees at $8. The latest effort in the White House push to end what it calls junk fees and move that
you should cap it
at $8.
Man, please, that 34 a pop it.
That's right.
That be hurting a brother.
They say that this will help save Americans up to $10 billion with a B dollars a year.
I spend that about a year myself, so I don't know about the rest of the country.
Right. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's new regulations set a ceiling of $8 for most credit card late fees or require banks to show why they should charge more than $8 for the fee.
Because that's how we make our money.
That's right.
Yep. That's right.
We got CEOs to pay, baby.
Is that no answer? Because we need to make all the money we can off the backs of people who don't have the money in the first
place.
It's loan shark juice. It's the juice. It's literally legalized loan shark juicing.
So this is what they're going to do. If they do put a cap on it at $8, because right now some banks are doing, if they do it, they only do it up to like $5, whatever. You drop that down to $8, it's about to be unlimited. They're about to hit you every single time, and just run that bad boy up. So it is what it is. So
the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and I'm looking at you, Khameron, I don't want you to fall out. I'm not sure what the air distribution situation is where you are in that passageway. But I
was concerned about that dark shadow of a person that was coming down the stairs behind. I was about to say, "Run, Khameron!" For our radio listeners, sorry, but Khameron's on a stairwell, and there was this big, huge dude coming down the steps. I was like, "Run!" Sorry, Sybil.
It's okay. The Bureau also said that they estimate the banks brought in roughly $14 billion in credit card late fees a year. $14 billion, and saving Americans $10 billion. So they would still lose, a considerable amount of money. And he said that he is highlighting this, the president highlighting this with other efforts to reduce costs to Americans at the meeting of the Competition Council today. The Democratic president also said he's forming a new strike force to crack down on illegal and unfair pricing on things like groceries, prescription drugs, healthcare, housing, and financial services. And check this out. This is what got it for me. He also noted that companies are effectively raising prices by putting in fewer potato chips in the bags. Who told him this? Because Joe Biden doesn't know that there are fewer chips in the bag, more air in the bag, and we're paying more for it, right? But he said, and he noted, even the Sesame Street character Cookie Monster has noticed the so-called shrinkflation by saying on social media he's paying more for fewer cookies. God bless Joe Biden. I don't know if it was his grandchildren or what, but somebody is talking to him and talking like regular folks. Hey, man,
well, I'm concerned
this
that
is the problem. This is
I'm concerned
this is the problem, Pop.
I'm concerned he's enacting policy based on the Cookie Monster, a fictitious character.
Hey,
he's real. I see him on TV.
If he enacted upon his policy based upon something Elmo, my dude Elmo says, I'm all with him. I'm not mad at him at all. From the Tell Us How You Really Feel file, Mark Cuban, the minority stake owner. The lovely ladies. Okay, all right, Cameron. Can I buy you?
Yes.
Can I buy you?
Oh Lord, Sybil, this might almost been an upskirt moment.
So I was trying to pivot my camera angle. Be a respectful, decent human being.
Come through Club Khameron, ladies.
Right. I feel like I just shined up my shoe and put a mirror on it.
Oh, don't mind the shiny patent leather shoes. Okay. Mark Cuban, minority owner of the Mavericks and Shark, reaffirmed his vocal opposition to Donald Trump and political support for Joe Biden. In an interview with Bloomberg News, he went so far as to say that he would vote for Biden even if Biden was on his deathbed. He said if they were having his last wake and it was him versus Trump and he was being given last rites, I would still vote for Joe Biden. He's been a real vocal critic of Donald Trump and said he planned to vote for Nikki Haley in today's GOP primary, and knowing that he is going to vote for Joe Biden come November. That's some hate for you, and that's a man with a loud voice, telling you. I'm not sure how his new owners of the Mavericks feel about it, but he's very forthcoming.
Yeah, that's pretty tricky in Texas, especially when you talk about the big money guys.
Right.
I think a lot of
you need the big money guys to get some of the things you need to get done, especially if you want a casino.
And that's what I'm saying about the new owners, because they are big
shut up
people.
Shut up.
Will that boy just shut his mouth?
Don't say nothing about politics. Okay. Just let's get this money.
Let's move to entertainment. And Jonathan Majors and Megan Good said they're good. They made their red carpet debut as a couple. 2 months after his trial, they made the event debut at the 7th Annual African American Film Critics Association Special Achievement Awards Luncheon in Los Angeles. They smiled and posed for photos on the red carpet. And during the outing, they said that he was asked by Extra about how he and Megan were doing. He said, "In love. We're doing good. Thanks for asking." And Megan added, "We're doing great. God's good." Good for them. Good for them.
Yeah.
Have you gotten to sentencing yet?
No.
Okay, we need to.
I think the sentencing is this month or next month, if I'm not mistaken, man.
She's hold. Hey. She got another month or two. Okay.
And that's an event he wouldn't have attended with that white woman he used to be with.
Okay. Or they would have met at the seats after the lights went down, right?
But I'll say this, like I talking about Eric Bellinger, Megan Good's sister-in-law, and her and Jonathan Majors did come out to a concert he was having, and he says that, look, Jonathan Majors is a really good dude. He's had time to spend with him, and Megan and the families, got together, and he's like, I'm all about positivity.
Everybody says.
He's like, he's a really nice guy. So I have nothing negative to say about the man.
I hope they make it. I really do.
Most people with chronic depression are really nice.
Thank you, Cameron.
Wow.
Just
Okay.
saying.
Out.
Yep. Let
Just
us.
saying.
We're not going to close on that thought, but we will close with a jewel.
That's today's jewel. Most depressed people are great.
They are.
They're very nice.
They're just
very
sad.
nice people.
You're right,
They're
though.
great
You're
at
right.
parties.
Yeah.
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 We're going to close out with today's Yogi's Jewel. Being accepting fosters compassion, understanding, and the path to healing. Being accepting fosters compassion, understanding, and the path to healing. Go get some chili water there, Khameron, and maybe an adult beverage or two. Thank you.
Where are you, Khameron? I know you're in Jamaica, but like, where are you in Jamaica?
I'm in Montego Bay.
Okay.
He's
Right.
at
What does that
Club
mean?
Khameron. He's at Club Khameron.
No. I mean, no. It's nice.
You know, Ned is Jamaican. So.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
just wanted to know.
Yeah, a
like,
minute ago, he was on the stairway to heaven.
Yeah, I'm gonna go follow up with those ladies real quick.
Yes, sir. We won't hold you any longer. Thanks, you guys. And thank you very much for joining us, everyone. We appreciate it. We'll see you again soon. Aloha.